I want to bring in our panel this morning. We have Scott Blakeman. He's a political commentator. Also, Judge Ken Vecchio. He's an attorney and GOP strategist. Guys, thanks so much for coming on here to chat about this. Let's go back to COVID-19. Talk a little bit about the president's response there at his press conference there. Scott, I'll start with you really quick here. Is it a mistake for the president not to be tested? We know he hasn't been tested yet, though he's not showing signs, but do we want to see him tested?
I think the president needs to be a role model, needs to set an example. And yes, he was in contact with Congressman Gates, who was on his Air Force One. So he absolutely needs to be tested, because testing, we're eighth. The United States is eighth in terms of major countries and per capita testing. We didn't follow the WHO offered test kits. We turned it down. We need to be testing. That's the only way you know how the virus is going to spread. The president needs to set an example, and he must be tested.
Judge, your response on that?
Everybody should want to take every possible disease and illness seriously. But, I mean, come on here. The President of the United States needs to be tested to serve as a role model? That is bad advice. Why? Because there are not enough testing kits available to go out and test 350 million people in the United States. If the president runs out and gets tested, that's going to send a signal to every American who has no signs or symptoms whatsoever of the coronavirus that you need to be tested. It's going to further the hysteria. The fact that there are 7 or 8 lawmakers who have themselves quarantined, that may be a good idea. It may not be a good idea. I'm not so sure that the medical establishment is saying to everybody who came into some kind of close proximity with somebody who allegedly has the coronavirus that they need to quarantine themselves. On the other hand, maybe it is just a good idea if you think you did really come in contact with somebody. But we are in a world of unnecessary panic right now. And the president is doing everything he can to try to limit the panic while at the same time trying to fight off this potentially serious disease in the United States.
Let me jump in there really quick, because some do criticize the president for what they are saying, downplaying the coronavirus, specifically online, on Twitter. Do you feel that way?
Well, absolutely. The best way a president can lead, and look, I want him to succeed, as I always say, you have to be transparent. Honesty has not been the president's strong suit. He needs to be direct and honest with the American people. This isn't about saving Wall Street or the economy. It's about saving American lives, which is the #1 priority of any U.S. president. And Ken agreed with me that the testing has been bad in this country. The medical profession needs help. Everybody who needs to be tested is not able to get a test. And they need to be. It's not panic. It's being prudent.
I don't think it's fair for anybody to say that the president is not taking this seriously and that he's not doing enough. The guy's holding one press conference after another after another. He's now gotten earmarked over $7 billion to fight this potential
He had proposed
pandemic.
2.5. The Senate made 8.5 billion.
The 2.5 billion sounds reasonable by every expert I talk to more than combat this potential issue in the United States. There's already some kind of problem here with the coronavirus. The question is, how far is it going to get? Any reasonable person says, look, more people are going to get infected with it. But where he's not downplaying, where he's being realistic, there's 60 to 70,000 people every year that unfortunately pass away from the flu.
Well, let me jump on the back of that one. Correct. Let me jump on the back of that one real quick, because who is in charge of this, who has been appointed, is Vice President Mike Pence, and he actually had something to say earlier. I want to play this down and get your reaction.
In fact, as I stand before you today, the risk of contracting the coronavirus to the American public remains low, and the risk of serious disease among the American public also remains low.
So you're saying that he's saying it remains low. You see the stock market doing exactly what it is doing. You see lawmakers quarantining themselves. What I'm asking here, is this not a big deal, or is this moving into something even bigger than we thought?
It's a tremendous look. Italy has shut down the entire country. South Korea got the virus the same day we did. They test 700 times more than we do. Look, you have to be prudent. When you go to a doctor, you don't want him to say, "Oh, don't tell me the truth, just make me feel good." You want the truth. And the administration has not done enough. Mike Pence is not a scientist. Both he and the president have been at odds with science through much of their career. We need to listen to the scientists. They're all saying, look, even a low risk, even at 4%, that's tens of thousands of people. And the seasonal flu is different than this. We don't have a vaccine for this. We don't know a lot about this. It's a novel virus. So there's a way to be urgent, be smart, and he has to listen to the health professionals and it's not about Donald Trump. It's about saving American lives.
Scott, very reasonable response that when you go to a doctor, you want to hear the truth. And in hearing the truth right now, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and medical experts that are being reasonable are saying, look, there is some chance, some small chance that any given American could contract the coronavirus. And there is a small possibility that people with pre-existing conditions, people that are very elderly, could die from this, just like the flu. So I do think where testing is available for people with symptoms, we need to make it more available. But at the same time, let's cut the panic.
And I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to bring you back in hour two. But that is Scott Blakeman, political commentator, and Judge Ken Del Vecchio, attorney and GOP strategist. Guys, thanks so much for coming on.